Oh my goodness, we are so back. Hello everyone, welcome to the continuation of Fizz Drives to Work. I believe this is episode 6, maybe it's 7, could even be 5, I'm not entirely sure. I kind of record these a bunch at once, and I'm pretty sure this is 6 though, because this is a new batch, so regardless, welcome to the yapping sesh, the weekly in air quotes. We took a little bit of a break, gotta give the employees at Fizzation Inc. the, Thanksgiving off and spend time with their families, so, but we're back with what's today's topic. Well, you can probably see it from the beginning, or from the title of the video. My first stream ever. Now I want you guys. This is gonna be a little bit of a quiz for you guys. I want you guys to pause this video, and I want you to guess when my first stream was. Could be, was it last night? Was it a year ago? 3 years ago? 10 years ago? 20 years ago? I don't know. You guys tell me. So, a little bit of a background, chat. I grew up with YouTube, as one does, right? I was a big, I'll be honest, chat, I was a big Minecraft kid growing up. Minecraft, to me, was a very cool game. Do you know what else was similar to Minecraft that I liked even before it was, created? Legos. I was a fiend for Legos. Not to say that my family had a lot of money, but I used to get like Mega Block, like the discount Legos. But I also got a couple Lego Star Wars from here and there. Maybe one small one for Christmas, maybe a small one for my birthday, whatever it may be, right? Nothing crazy, but decent enough, right? So growing up, I thought Legos were the coolest. I used to build them, take them apart, rebuild them. Used to make mocks. For those who don't know what MOC stands for, it's my own creation. It's a little custom Lego build. Usually it's an action shot, if it's like a Star Wars build, so I had a YouTube channel when I was, I don't even think I was 11. I believe it was in 2008. I think is when I started my first YouTube channel. And maybe it was maybe it was 2008, 2009. It was called, actually, I don't want to, I'll say it. It was X Dispenser X. And I thought that was back in the day when saying, having 2 X's before and after your name was the coolest thing ever. There's nothing cooler than XX, Lil Killer XX, or XX Cool Guy XX. That was when shit was hype. Alright, so anyways, long story short, this channel didn't survive too long, but in 2010, I remade my YouTube channel. Now this one was more, not so much focused on Legos, but it was more focused on, how do we say, gaming, right? I forget the name of the capture card that I got, but there used to be a Radio Shack. I feel like it was one of the last ones in the world that was near a little shopping plaza from where I grew up, right? And I remember going in there, and this was at the time when Radio Shack was kind of on the way out, 2010, 2011. But long story short, they had a capture card, right? That was $16, or maybe it was even $19. This thing, in hindsight, was trash. It was, the pair phones from iCarly or Zoe 101. It honestly resembled one of those. It was like a pancake that was smushed, but it was all white, and it had the composite, the red, yellow, and white cables. Oh, this thing recorded in 480p. But I thought it was the coolest fucking thing ever. I was like, oh my god, I can record my gameplay. Because what I used to do was I had a flip camera. If anyone remember those, the the flip, the little white ones, and I used to stand that against like my, I don't even know what it was. Probably like on my bed or something. I like sandwiched it between two textbooks, and I just recorded my screens with that. And that was the extent of my game capture. So when I got this capture card, I was like, oh my gosh, this is life-changing. I must see what I can do with it. So I recorded a bunch of videos, right? And then I was like, well, would you look at that? There's this thing called Twitch TV. There's this thing called live streaming. Oh, what is that? What's live streaming, dude? I have no clue. So, chat, in 2012, that's right, I have had the same Twitch channel, albeit not the same name, right? Like, this was before Fizz, like, Fizzation was even an idea. This was before Fizz was conceived. This is BF. This is before Fizz. WBF, way before Fizz. I've had the same Twitch channel for 12 years. And my first stream was in, I don't know the exact month. We'll call it like, it was probably during the summer because it was like in between, school break or whatever, right? So it was probably like, call it July or maybe, August. But I remember, I was 13 years old at that point, 14 years old. And one of my favorite games to this day that I played ad nauseum back then was Call of Duty Modern Warfare, COD 4. One of my favorite games of all time. In my opinion, probably the second or third best Call of Duty. Probably the second. Subjectively, I think it's my favorite. But I think MW2 beat it out a little bit objectively. But I think COD 4 revolutionized the FPS market. But regardless, I had a single stream of COD 4. This thing, I would pay any amount of money to watch this VOD. Because I am sure, if it was in 480, it would be a miracle. I would not be surprised if it was in maybe 360. 360, 30 FPS is pushing it. My connection, I streamed, or I made videos on like a little shitty laptop that I had, Windows Movie Maker, and then I had a family like MacBook that I use, or like an iMac. And then when they got a new one, I eventually used that and used iMovie. But so this stream, right? I remember vividly. I forget the name of the COD map. I think it was Block, but it was the Call of Duty map where it was like, I don't know if it was in Chernobyl or like somewhere in Russia, but it was the map with it was like the two apartment buildings with the statue of like Stalin or somebody in the middle of the map. And it had like a very like blue hue to it. I think it's called Block, but I could be misremembering it. But anyways, I remember I was like, I'm going to be so many people are going to watch. This is amazing, right? Of course, I was like 13 years old, so, I didn't have a concept of reality. But long story short, chat, I started the stream up, right? And I was a squeaker. I had a very high-pitched voice, right, back then. This was honestly probably maybe at the beginning of puberty, right? I was a squeaker. I had a very high voice cracks, the whole 9 yards, right? So here I am, making my Twitch account, lying about my age, all of this stuff. The classic, the classic things you did as a kid. I start streaming chat, and I say, oh wow, this is amazing, right? I don't even think I used OBS. I could not tell you what I used to stream this thing. It could have been OBS. I cannot remember, right? But I started it up, and I'm playing like some Call of Duty matches. I I wasn't very good at COD 4. Like, let's be honest here, right? I was okay. I'd go like, maybe I'd go even. Maybe slightly above. Maybe like, 10-7. Maybe the 13-9 range. Somewhere in that range, right? Probably like 15 minutes into the stream, right? I see something come up on my screen. I forget the guy's name, right? But I will remember. They had a blue name, and their first message was a question mark. And I was like, oh my goodness. There is another human being watching me. This is the coolest thing that has ever happened. I thought, people like this is sick. Like I'm playing a game live, streaming it, and somebody's watching, and I forget exactly what I said. I probably welcomed him in, not that I'm great at welcomes nowadays, but I certainly was better off, I'm certainly better off now than what I was then. I kid you not, chat. This person joins, writes a single question mark, the next message is KYS. And then I never hear, they never sent another message. Chat, I was destroyed. I remember feeling so bad about myself. I felt my heart was like, he reached into my chest, yanked my heart out. I remember just feeling gutted. Like, here I am, a 13-year-old kid. He just spent, his week paycheck working at the fucking, my first job, which was not glamorous. I got paid $5 an hour. Spent all of my money on, a fucking capture card, a controller, all of this stuff. The cables necessary to play it, the microphone, chat. I forgot about the microphone. I think I went to, Guitar Center or something. I went to some, music store, I remember. And I was like, I just need, a microphone. And they're like, what are you going to do with it? And I think I was lying. I was like, it's for my, school or something. I didn't want to tell them that I was making videos and live streaming. So I had a fucking, I don't want to call it a professional microphone, but it was like a microphone that, a singer would use, right? And it had a little stand, but the stand was too tall. Oh, man, this thing, chat, I was probably $40 in the hole. Between the capture card, between the microphone, and then this guy just comes in, hits me with a question mark, and then says KYS. For those who don't know what KYS is, it's unalive yourself. But the K is rhymes with grill. And I was like, oh man, that's brutal. I don't want to say I cried, but I teared up. And I remember probably 15-20 minutes into the stream, I just ended it. I ended stream. I remember reading his message and being like, it was something like, oh, welcome in, my name is, blah, 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 oh, thank you so much for being here, and then I see another message, and I'm just like, oh, and I just remember the feeling of, that's when I learned, chat, that the world does not care about you. The universe does not care about you. Here I am, living out my fantasy of being a content creator. I thought I was so cool. This is gonna be something I'm gonna turn to when I'm old. We just made it, boys. This is it. And then this person just says question mark KYS, and that's when my dream died. And I remember being like, you know what? I will never ever stream again. People suck. Honestly, I think that's where my hatred of people kind of started. That's the beginning of my villain arc. If I ever turn out to be a comic book supervillain someday, and they're like, man, where did where did Fizz go wrong? Like what happened? You know? I'm gonna say 2012, man. The streaming incident. But yeah. And then, so I still made like, YouTube videos, but I was like, I'm never gonna live stream again. And that was it. So my first stream was in 2012. And then I streamed again during the pandemic. I streamed, I think it was in like September of 2020. I wanted to be a card opening stream, right? So I'd like open magic cards. So I bought a magic box of 𝐬𝐤𝐤𝐿 Rising, the new set that just came out. And I told my friends about it. They came in. They hit me with the Resident Sleepers, which to this day still makes me tilted. And then after one single magic stream, I was like, well, shit. I don't have the money to keep doing this. So I was like, well, that was fun. So I had one stream as a card, like a card opening stream. And then we all know that I was a programming stream for a bit under the name Lost in the Source, a classic. Kind of a play on words of like Lost in the Sauce, Lost in the Source. That didn't go well. Although I will say, I did give that a college try. I probably had like, I don't know how many streams of that. Probably like 8 programming streams, I'd said, that they all sucked. Not saying I was good. Yeah, and then in, whatever it was, in March or in, February of 22? No, of 21, I'm sorry. No, 22. Yeah. In March or February of 22, Fizzation was born. We've been going strong ever since. But yeah, who would have thought? From very humble beginnings, chat. From being told to commit suicide by a stranger on the internet when I was 13 years old, who just blew his money on playing, on paying for a capture card from Radio Shack, using a microphone from Guitar Center, to now, a 900-something follower fish on the internet. Who would have thought that's how my life would have turned out? I wouldn't change a thing, chat. Would not change a thing, guys. But yeah, well, thank you for listening to my story time, and if you don't believe me, if you don't believe that I've had this channel for 12 years, I probably won't do it with this video, but sometime I'll go into a channel that has the channel age command from Stream Elements or Nightbot, and I'll screenshot it, right? As 𝐬𝐤𝐤𝐿, this was like 2 months ago at this point, but we were talking about how old our channels are. I think 𝐬𝐤𝐤𝐿's channel was 9 years old, and mine was like 12 months, or 12 years and 6 months old or something like that. So, we're coming up on a 3-year anniversary in February, when in reality, chat, we should really be celebrating the 13-year anniversary of X Spencer X, a classic. Oh, God, classic. All right, guys. Well, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for listening to the yapping session. More Fizz Drives to Work episodes to come. Thank you all for watching, for listening. Again, I'm totally not running out of ideas for these episodes, but I greatly appreciate it if you recommended some topics that you'd want to listen to. Maybe some other story times. We talked about doing a Q&A on one, so I would kind of have to memorize like a bunch of questions because I can't look at my phone while texting. Or I'm sorry, I can't look at my phone while driving. That's illegal. But yeah, thank you all for stopping by. I really appreciate it. Have a good morning, evening, or afternoon, wherever you may be listening to this from. And I'll be with you again real soon. All right, everyone, take care. And goodbye.